The author of the book, White Fragility, Robin DiAngelo, is going after Matt Walsh for tricking her into appearing in his movie, Am I Racist? Now, I realize that title is supposed to be rhetorical, but the answer is yes. Yes, he is. Now, DiAngelo, in a statement on her website, wrote this. Back in 2023, I was contacted by a group who claimed to be making a documentary film called Shades of Justice about efforts to address racism in the United States. They plan to interview anti-racist activists, authors, and thought leaders in service of supporting the cause of racial equity. They offered me between $10,000 to $20,000 for an interview. I said, let's meet in the middle with 15, and I agreed to participate. I have since donated that sum to the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. So now, let me stop there. People are paying other people for interviews? Wow, I've been doing this wrong, haven't I? I haven't got anything for interviews. Of course, I'm also a Z-list celebrity, so, or public figure or whatever. Nobody knows who I am. Okay, anyway. So offering somebody, though, $10,000 to $15,000 or $10,000 to $20,000. Wow, red flag. To me, though, maybe it's because I don't run in those circles. I'm not in academia. I'm not a famous author. I'm not a famous anything. Okay. So I guess it never really occurred to me that somebody would pay me for an interview, but I guess that happens. Now, the thing, though, that stood out is, wow, that's $15,000. That's a lot of money. Now, of course, it's nothing for an outlet like the Daily Wire, who, remember, had offered Steven Crowder $50 million for a contract, which he turned down. He turned down $50 million. That is so much money. There's too much money on the right wing. It's insane how much it is, how much these people get paid. But anyway, getting back to her statement, she writes that when I arrived for the interview, a few things had felt off. The grips would not make eye contact with me, and that's of course the staff, right, that are doing the interview, and of course the interviewer, who was introduced as Matt, appeared to be wearing an ill-fitting wig. Yeah, that looks absolutely ridiculous. Oh, come on. Are you Wow. That is clearly Matt Walsh in a bad wig. That said, if you don't know Matt Walsh, which apparently she doesn't, then, well, that's still just a guy in a bad wig, all right? Now, she said, look, okay, yeah, he had an ill-fitting wig, but he presented himself as somebody new to anti-racist work and seemed earnest, and his questions did not come across as adversarial. All right, so now she then mentioned that by the end, things got weird. And this is the viral moment where Walsh was talking about reparations, right? And said, well, if you believe in reparations, then you're going to give my producer, Ben, who happens to be black, you're going to give him some money. Now she's like, okay, that's a little strange. Okay, here you go. Here's the money, right? Now, DiAngelo claimed that shortly after the interview had ended, she realized that she had been tricked into taking part in a, quote, Borat-style mockumentary titled Am I Racist?, which was designed to humiliate and discredit anti-racist educators and activists. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there is a difference, though, between this and Borat. Borat was actually kind of funny. Just saying. But, okay, yeah, if somebody is saying, hey, my producer's black, so you must give him money for reparations. Yeah, that's definitely weird. And by the way, it's not even the point of reparations. Reparations is about trying to undo the economic harm done by slavery and Jim Crow, which isn't just remedied by, giving a random black person money. No, it requires systemic change, okay? Undoing those systemic racism, essentially. But the right wing thinks, oh, no, it is about giving random black people money. No. And of course they add in, oh, you believe in reparations because of white guilt, you're guilty. No, I'm obviously very white. I don't feel guilty at all. I didn't do nothing wrong, okay? But I am aware, though, that I benefit from certain privilege. You know the privilege that I have that I enjoy the most? benefit of the doubt. All right? That's the big white privilege that we have. Nobody assumes I'm a criminal due to my skin color. All right? Nobody assumes that I'm not intelligent or hardworking because of my skin color. Nobody has ever denied me a job because of my skin color. Okay? Black Americans, they can't say that. All right? So to me, reparations is fixing those things. It means acknowledging as well that white nationalists throughout American history have systematically destroyed black wealth whenever it has popped up. And so that's where the money thing comes into play, right? Look, it's fairly common knowledge, or at least it should be, that black people do not have as much generational wealth as a lot of white people. And the result is because of laws passed against black people that targeted them, as well as white racist mobs destroying every time black people create an economy that works for them, okay, and that they start to get wealthy and powerful in their area, white people who are, stirred up by racist resentments come in and destroy it. They tear it down. They do lynchings. They burn buildings. They do race riots. Look in the entire history. There are tons of race riots, especially in post-Reconstruction South, okay? There's Black Wall Street, Tulsa Race Massacre. That's what it's also known as. You had the Wilmington Massacre in North Carolina. Again, targeting affluent black people and their allies. And again, all these racist attacks, and there's way more than those, just two, right? Again, based on the politics of resentment, the black people who ended up doing well for themselves, okay? They created wealth and opportunity, and they owned businesses. They attained high political office, especially at a time where that was something that was, you had the Klan getting, very influential and powerful because of that. Because, we're here to stop black people from exercising their right to vote, and as well as getting into office. And so that was one of the main purposes of the Klan, was to stop black people from using their political power to gain economic power. So that's, by the way, that's always been the playbook. And it's been, generally spurred on by wealthy white people who stoke resentment of black people climbing the ladder among, poor white people, right? So they go to poor white people and be like, oh, you know why you're poor? It's not because we're screwing you over as wealthy people by taking all the money. No, it's the black people. Go after them. And of course, that's what happens. And so to get them to do the work of destroying black wealth. Now, why? Why would wealthy white people want to destroy wealthy black people? So they can hold on to their own wealth. Okay? So there's a scapegoat for them actually screwing over poor white people and making them poor. So that's the history of that. Now, getting to what they're doing today, the Republican Party is still doing that time-honored tradition. Who funds the Daily Wire? Well, back in 2015, Ben Shapiro and Jeremy Boring actually received several $1 million in seed money to start the Daily Wire from billionaire petroleum industry brothers Dan and Ferris Wilks. So, yeah, they got a lot of money from the oil companies, the billionaires. And now the company has gotten very large, very successful. They make millions of dollars in subscriptions to Daily Wire Plus. And they also sell crap, Jeremy's razors or whatever, to conservatives who are mad at the companies are too woke. Okay. So now they make all this money, and they apparently give some of it to Matt Walsh so he can make terrible documentaries. Like, what is a woman? And now this one, okay? Oh, and by the way, Ben Shapiro wanted to make a documentary, but he ended up making a movie, Lady Ballers. The reason that it wasn't a documentary, and this is in his own words, he apparently found it difficult for, quote, actual men to get into any women's sports, which completely kind of destroys the entire point. Because again, the entire point of the movie is to show how it was so easy for men to get into women's sports and dominate all the women. But it turns out, no, it wasn't so easy after all. So he changed it from documentary to satirical comedy. But the thing you got to remember about Ben Shapiro is that he is a failed screenwriter. Okay, weird how that works out. So now getting back to D'Angelo, right? Now she had concluded after this that the experience had reinforced for me how critically important it is to do in-depth background research before making yourself vulnerable to people you don't know, because she didn't know who Matt Walsh was. Or believing and sharing what you see online, they will not prevail in their efforts to stop the work for racial justice. So now Matt Walsh responded to D'Angelo on social media Thursday saying, quote, "She claims that the movie is designed to humiliate and discredit anti-racist educators and activists. She couldn't be more correct in that assessment. Thank you, Robin." In another post, he also questioned why D'Angelo proceeded with the interview if she could spot his ill-fitting wig. Quote, "My favorite part of this this wonderful statement, is that she says she noticed my ill-fitting wig when she first sat down with me, and yet for some reason still did the interview." You know why? It's because not everybody's first thought is that this person is out there to screw me over, that this person is a bad faith actor. They don't assume that everybody is Matt Walsh. But see, that's who he is. He's openly admitting that, yes, I was there absolutely in bad faith. I'm not a truth teller. No, I'm there to own the libs. Well, I mean, what else can you say about that?
The Republican Party's racist.
Well, as well as...
Oh my God, he admitted!
Press the wrong button, but you know what? Turns out to be the right button. Because it also applies. But again, Matt Walsh showing you exactly who he is. Ill-fitting wig and all. He's not a truth teller. He's a troll that should not be taken seriously. And so let this, I guess, be a warning to anyone else. If somebody who kind of resembles Matt Walsh shows up in a bad-looking wig, well, you know he's not there for good reasons. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.